and Vishal, etc. will come up as well. We've got the opening bell coming up. What do we have? First rates, 25,778, about a 0.4% lower. The Nifty Bank is down about 0.5, 58,178. Sensex and the small and mid-cap indices will come up on your screens as well. So this is the overall picture. So a third of a percent down, 25,792 is the opening rates. Nifty 50 heat map will give you a quick sense of where things are landing, and then we will pick it up from there. Adani on one end, Tata Motors passenger vehicle business there as well, but bulk of it is all in the red. ONGC, Tata Steel, Eicher, etc. on the other end of the spectrum. But almost 40 stocks lower and about 10 stocks which are higher. But I suspect this will change, and you will see a bit of a swing up and down from where we are starting. Surabhi.
Well, plenty of...
My screen is stuck, I think, on Bihar. So, Nigel, please fill us in.
Well, plenty of stocks moving around from the broader markets. It's the final day of earnings. Wowee. But let's address the stocks first. You have Muthoot Finance. On expected lines, they've gone ahead and increased their guidance, but the street loves it. They were waiting for this announcement. The management promised it's going to happen. And that stock is bursting away. It's up more than 7% as we speak. Grow continues to move higher. That's up closer to 6%. What a fantastic listing this one has had. It continues to move from strength to strength. You have Jubilant Food. I don't know where the Pizza Huts are coming out, but that stock, in fact, opens up with a gain of closer to 5%. So clearly, the street likes those numbers. Bharat Dynamics moving, like a missile. That's up closer to 5%. So good move is what we're seeing out there. And KRBL as well, up closer around 4.5%. GMR Airports, I recall Vinny saying that those numbers are quite good. And Vishal Mega Marts as well, that number was quite good. So the street likes it. All those reacting favorably to the numbers. Now on the flip side, LG Electronics. Had a good amount of subscription, priced the issue very, very well. The stock ran away. The numbers are a little bit disappointing. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get some clarifications from the management in just a wee bit from now. So that's going to be a stock on the radar. We also have Tilaknagar Industries. Well, the growth was there, but maybe not as much as anticipated. Some of those price hikes, I think, may be due in the next quarter. But for the time being, the street doesn't like it. They're slamming the stock down closer around 7% as we speak. PG Electroplus, another management we'll get in the next 30-40 minutes or so. So that one as well is down closer around 3%. And Nalco coming in for some profit taking. So a lot of action on in the broader markets. The mid-cap index, to be fair, is more or less flattish. PG Electroplus, actually, the stock, I think, gapped down closer around 6%. Now it's given up all of those losses on the verge of moving to the green. Street is willing to look ahead.
And absolutely. And, this is some of the stuff which is coming through, right? Muthoot, maybe I just want to go back to it, right? That's the big winner, a continued winner. That's a breakout. I mean, it's, as I was saying earlier, I think for the last about 4 months or so, it's been flat, ranged. But that's almost a 4,000 rupee stock now, Muthoot Finance. Look at the volumes, almost getting to that million share mark coming through. Manishi Chaudhary is with us, Chief Executive Officer at Emmer Capital Partners. Manishi, good to have you with us here. Thanks for joining us. I want to start with this one. Muthoot, if you have any views, gold loans, what a takeoff it's been for Muthoot. 2024, it used to be 1,500 rupees, Manishi.
Well, I wouldn't have an opinion on a single stock, of course. But yes, in general, if you do have a situation where gold prices continue to move up despite the recent fluctuations, then obviously the volume of gold loans and the kind of interests that can be charged, they would also stay healthy. So, it's ultimately, it's all a call on how gold would perform over the longer term. And on that question, I am actually convinced that despite the recent fluctuations, the recent wobbles that we have had, I think in the medium term, gold prices would stay healthy. Central banks continue to buy. It remains a relatively safe haven destination during times of geopolitical tensions. And all these reasons are not going away in a hurry.
That's as far as gold finances are concerned. Manishi, hi, good morning. So we were, just before you joined us, we were looking at the numbers out of Bihar, and right now they seem to be going definitely in favor of the NDA, right? I'm not sure if it really changes the needle at all for the market, barring that there was a little bit of nervousness. So we had some profit taking yesterday, and maybe it gets the bulls get a bit of a fillip up if this is indeed the final result. But do you see any other bearing with respect to this result either in policy making or just market sentiment. And market anyway is more focused right now on the trade deal and on earnings, I guess.
Right. So it's, it's clearly an underscore as far as policy stability is concerned. It gives the ruling party at the center, the BJP and the NDA, some more wiggle room at this point of time. Remember that there were some important decisions that were actually not being made, or at least anecdotally, that's what we hear, before the Bihar elections, in terms of engaging with the United States and, the kind of discussions that need to be had as far as agriculture and dairy are concerned. These are very sensitive political issues. And I think, both sides, India and the United States, India in particular, were not able to arrive at those decisions pending the Bihar election. So obviously, it opens up, avenues for, some of those important decisions to be finalized now. We must also remember that now we have an ambassador, an American ambassador in India, who has a direct line to President Trump. I mean, he's not only been the personal advisor over there, he has also been, very close to not just to President Trump, but to his entire family. So I think it's an important signal that the U.S. wants to re-engage. That engagement had fallen off, in the middle, but it's clearly on kind of getting mended, or at least that's the signal we are receiving.
All right. Hi, Manishi. We hope that Mr. Trump is on board as well, because thoughts can change on a dime, but nothing wrong in hoping, and hopefully we hear something sooner rather than later. That said, let's talk about various themes. I recall that, we have chatted about the quick commerce space in the past and, just getting quite competitive in China. At some point of time, we had mentioned that the growth rates could moderate as well. Some of these stocks have actually declined considerably from the recent peak, whether it's fear or with regard to profitability, or whether it's fear with regard to a bigger competition coming in there. What's your view on this space, and would you be positive on it?
See, in the longer term, I think these quick commerce, think of Blinkit is a part of the matter. So they have a lot of penetration yet to execute. As of now, I think they are active in the top tier, the tier 1 and tier 2 cities, but the runway for them is still quite long. So in a sense, India, as far as food delivery, grocery delivery, and other services are concerned, India is possibly about 8 to 10 years behind China, because in case of China, the likes of Meituan, and a few others, the Ilimi by Alibaba, they actually came up, in the mid-2010s. So, and importantly, these companies have constantly reinvented themselves. They have added new services. They have possibly addressed new customer requirements at regular points in time. So that's, I think, something that the Indian companies would also have to think of. So yes, I mean, I think, logically, they do have a long runway. There's a lot of growth still left on the table. Valuations, no doubt, are a concern. The Chinese companies are way cheaper than the Indian ones. But then you have a lot of growth on the table for the Indian ones.
So you'll be a little bit positive on that?
I would think so. I mean, selectively, one can be positive on this space. We don't really have any exposure to that space in their regional model portfolio. I run an Asia ex-Japan model portfolio. But, it's a sector that's clearly worth looking at closely.
Okay, so tell us about what you have in your portfolio then. From the Indian markets, what are you quite bullish on? We've gone through a decent amount of a time correction, not a big price correction, but various pockets will still look up. So tell us.
Right. I'll name 3 or 4. Number 1, we have financials, the private banks. It's something that I've been harping on for quite some time. And it's only over the last 1 or 2 months that the large frontline private sector banks have started moving up. Encouragingly, we have seen that old concern of retail loans going sour. That has been sort of underplayed by the leading private sector banks in the most recent conference call chatter. So that's clearly the first, the top sector exposure that we have. Second, We also have the consumer discretionaries. We have a significant chunk in the auto OEMs, private, personal vehicles, and even tractors and other SUVs, obvious names that you can think of. I would also say that some of the more recent exposures, like jewelry, organized sector jewelry in India, it is partly a play on gold prices, but that's another sector we do have over there. Third, industrials. Not only the large conglomerates, but also some of the defense names. And I was very careful of this sector, cautious of this sector, even about 1 or 2 months ago. But recently we have added after this sector underperformed and the earnings growth forecast stayed healthy. Finally, some of the conglomerates that are not only exposed to, say, retailing or telecom or petroleum, which are kind of a broad spectrum play on India. Right. So these are the kind of sectors and stocks we have. Conspicuous by their absence of IT services, I still remain quite negative on that sector. So in a nutshell, that's it.
Okay. That gives us some perspective on how you are sort of looking at the sectors over here in India. Quite helpful, Manishi. Thank you very much for joining in, and we look forward to another call soon. Well, with that, just a quick glance at the screen before we move on. Still down about 77 points. Mid-caps are doing much, much better today. Wherever there are positive earnings surprises, those stocks are getting fully rewarded. Case in point would be something like definitely a Bharat Dynamics, but Muthoot has been the headline of the morning, 9% up. By the way, look at Jubilant Food. The pizza is definitely piping hot. Cheese burst or whatever you want to call it. 8% up on Jubilant Food Works as well. And Bharat Dynamics. So that's a trio, your top three earnings, positive reactions today. Well, one stock that's facing the heat because of not such a hot quarter is actually LG Electronics. We saw flat revenue growth from the company, and there was a lot of EBITDA margin compression as well. Actually, at the EBITDA level as well as the gross level, there was a margin pressure that showed up. So let's get in Sanjay Chitkara, Chief Sales Officer, and Atul Khanna, Chief Accounting Officer at LG Electronics, to better understand the business dynamics. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining in. Mr. Chitkara, maybe, either one, maybe you can open and tell us what really happened, because we've seen pressure across the board. So at the top line level, both on the entertainment side of your business and the home appliances side, things are flat to slightly, very, very slight growth coming in. And then the margin pressure, 350 basis points EBITDA pressure. So just walk us through why it was such a challenging quarter.
So actually, our short-term numbers are just a reflection of timing shift, and there is no as such business weakness. As we all know, our industry faced a cool summer this year, geopolitical tension, tariff escalations, and on top of it, there was a timing gap of GST implementation. The GST was announced on 15th of August, but implemented on 22nd of September. So there was a deferment of purchase by customers and partners. And once the transition was over, the partners and customers started buying. So it was just a timing gap. As such, there was no business issue. And if you see, within 1.5 months, we covered the entire quarter turnover and grew also. So if we improved also our market share during this period. Our refrigerator, TV, air conditioners, market share have been improved. Our brand strength is at its peak.
You're talking just to get the period right. So you're saying that post the GST rollout, what you're saying, this improvement in market share, etc. Are you talking about October?
No, I'm talking about YTD September. Since the business conditions were tough, that was the best way that we improve our market share. So there was an improvement of our market share. In TV, we improved 1.4%. Refrigerator improvement is 1%, and air conditioner we improved by 0.5%.
Which is
market share.
Which is great.
Up till September.
Which is great, but what we're trying to understand is that this lack of growth on the top line, was it only a Q2 phenomena because of maybe a lot of rain and unseasonal monsoon or extended monsoon? And obviously there was a GST transition happening, or is it still extending? What is your projection on growth in Q3 and Q4?
We have already surpassed the toughest phase of GST transition. And now the inventories of our partners is also normalized. And our brand health is very good. As I mentioned, we improved our market share. And after GST cut, the affordability of our product and sentiments of consumers are very high. And next year, the calendar year, the new B-star rating guideline will come. And the additional cost of new energy efficient products has been already absorbed by GST cut. So this additional cost will not go to customers. So things are very positive and we are very optimistic. Things will fall in place.
All right. Got it. All right. Hi, Sanjay and Atul, and good to have you on the show. And I like what you said. You're optimistic about the future. So that's pretty good news. Now, a lot of your investors out there would like to get a broad guidance on the way ahead. At the half-year mark, well, revenues are more or less flattish. Margins are holding ballpark close to around 10% or thereabouts. But as you said, difficult phase over. Way ahead is good. So for the year, what kind of growth should the investors pencil in, given that inventory levels as well in the system have cooled off? The last quarter was marred by product mix as well on the margin front. For the year, what kind of revenue growth should we look at? And should you get back to that 12-13% margin at least?
If you see our CAGR growth, it was roughly around 13.1% from financial year 2022 onwards. And we have been registering a double-digit EBITDA. During this quarter, we invested ahead of festivals in our channel promotion and GTM costs. So we have now rationalized our promotion intensity. We have also taken a price increase in refrigerator and washing machine in the tune of 1.5 to 2%. And the ongoing localization efforts are still going on. So we are very positive that very soon we will achieve to our sustainable levels.
So sustainable is never. So you have grown in double digits for the in the past. So you're saying you'll continue that trajectory, right?
Yeah. So we have still half of this financial year ahead, and being a sales leader, we will definitely like to catch our previous performance. And we have never pushed the short-term margin tactics or growth tactics. Our strategy has been always a long-term because the market share drives your revenue and revenue drives your profits. And as I mentioned, we improved our market share. So we expanded that advantage.
Sanjay and Atul, thanks very much for joining us. Prashant here. And I was just joking here with Surabhi and Nigel that I have a refrigerator, 15-year-old LG. And still working fine. It's good brand advertisement for you, but I think
because you're not buying another one now. That's the thing, Prashant.
Customer like you are, we are sure.
No, but I'll tell you what. When you have all these people who come in now, service and this, say, pehle wala nahi banta ab. LG ke baare mein nahi, but generally across white good products, So that's generally a broad feature, which I think a lot of, this is anecdotal more than anything else. I want to talk about ACs in that sense. Atul, if you want to come in, we were hearing from many other players as well that AC inventory is very, very large in the system, and that will take some time to run down. Unseasonal rains, etc. have not helped. Where are we at on ACs, Atul?
For AC inventory, yes, you are right that during the cool summer of Q1, which carries some a high inventory of air conditioners in Q2 as well, whereas the GST rate transition has given an impact post 22nd September, where the inventory level of air conditioners of our channel is also getting normalized. And one more important thing is that the new B ratings are coming in effective January 26, where the manufacturer has to produce all their old stocks, and whereas the trade partners are allowed to sell those stocks in the market. So there would be a good combination of new BE rating stocks as well as the old rating stocks, which will give a boost to the air conditioner business, as the penetration level is currently around 12 to 13%, which is, as per the industry report, in a coming period, in next 3-4 years, it goes up to 19-20%. So there is a good room, and the government has also given a good booster to the especially air conditioners, which earlier was being treated as a luxury product. Now they are coming into a normal product category. They have reduced the GST rate to 18%, making it more affordable for the consumers. So this is a good sign as an economy as well as for the industry. So our inventory level is also normalizing, and we are hopeful that we will get more better sell-out positions in the market.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, we'll leave it on that note. Thank you very much for joining in, and I look forward to talking to you again through the year. And let's see, hopefully the second half ends up being better and stronger. Okay, that's 152 for the NDA, going by the leads as of now, and 77 for the RJD and the Mahagathbandhan. Well, yeah, so that's the tally as it stands right now with those leads coming in. The market, by the way, has recovered very, very nicely. Look at this. We started with, GIFT Nifty was earlier indicating 100-point cut. Then we opened. It was still about a 70-point downward drift. But now Nifty is barely in the red. Let's pull up the intraday. It's very early to pull up the intraday, but still, it'll give us an indication. And the mid-cap index is up 0.5%. Okay, quick break right now. We will be back, and on the other side, we'll be in conversation with the management of Samvardhana Motherson to talk about their business performance.
Co-presented by Bank of Maharashtra, Ek Parivar, Ek Bank. Co-powered by National Stock Exchange, Sochkar, Samajhkar, Investkar. And Century Ply Club Prime, Raho Befikar.
अपने दिल के हिस्से की सेफ्टी से समझौता? नो चांस। इसलिए पॉलीकैब ग्रीन वायर्स, जो है लेड फ्री और इमरजेंसी में दे कम टॉक्सिक गैस। Polycab Green Wires, India's safe, happy connection.
Hey, careful, huh? My daddy got it from abroad. Hey, disaster! How will you pay for the loss now?
In stock market, you should take risk as per your capacity and knowledge. Trade in options very carefully.
Wow, Dikra! Absolutely perfect. Take risk with full understanding. Presented by Punjab National Bank, the name you can bank upon.
Co-powered by SBI. Best है सबको पता है.
And Bank of Baroda के संग त्योहार की उमंग.
Okay, the big winner, of course, today is Muthoot Finance, which has reported a very, very strong set of numbers. And I think there are some upgrades afoot by brokerages. Gaurav is here with details. Gaurav, morning.
Well, yes, when we look at Muthoot Finance, it actually resembles how MS Dhoni actually ends his innings, and that is how Muthoot Finance has also ended this earnings season for second quarter. When we look at AUM growth, around 46% growth on a year-on-year basis, and the key thing to remember is that they have now increased the AUM growth guidance from 15% to 30 to 35%. Apart from that, if you look at net interest income, that increased almost by 50%. There was a one-off impact of 300 crores, but this is because of the reduction in NPAs, and that is the reason why, if you look at profit, that increased more than 80% on a year-on-year basis. Now, when you look at the net interest margins, there also we saw some kind of increase, and from here on, management is very strong and very optimistic about the growth going ahead, not in just gold business, but in the other segments as well. On the back of that, when we look at brokerages, now CLSA, they increased the target price to 4,000 rupees. They say that they are expecting around 25% AUM growth for the next 2 years. And apart from that, Jefferies, they also maintain their target price of 4,000 rupees because they say that net interest margin should expand and credit costs should decline. So definitely a green signal from brokerages as well. And this is the clear sign that we are seeing in the stock price as well. As we speak, it is up more than 5% in trade.
MS Dhoni and all, huh? Gaurav, you're getting onto the pitch as well, brother. Hope you're in fine form.
Many ways to interpret that. I think
Next phase of life for Gaurav, he's getting married next month, just to clarify.
Just in case you missed it. Yeah. That's the main story. By the way, when you said the winner of the day is, I thought you were referring to Mr. Nitish Kumar. But no, Muthoot also. Let's not forget.
I think you've got numbers on the board for both, right, at this point in time. But I think the Nitish Kumar story will play out in the next couple of hours. Should be clearer, much clearer. But the leads are there. 151. They've crossed 122, 123 to win. And the leads are showing that they've passed the halfway mark comfortably now. Samvat and Motherson delivered a steady set of second quarter earnings. Margins were in line with the CNBC-TV18 poll. We're going to discuss this with the CFO, Kunal Malani. Kunal, great to have you with us here. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I just want to start by asking you that the overall global auto OEM picture remains pretty muted, right? I mean, you can look at the guidance which companies like Volvo, etc., has given for 2026. They're actually forecasting a decline. So as you look into calendar 2026, what are your thoughts? What is the discussion with customers regarding tariffs? Have you managed to pass on the entire tariff costs? Let's just start there.
Hi, good morning. I think we do anticipate that a lot of the powertrain challenges or powertrain mix challenges that were there, the customers have taken corrective steps around those. And as some of the new launches happen, you should be able to see a better traction come back in the market. We do expect, for example, the H2 to look much better than H1, and then momentum should continue. Europe was a little bit of a miss for the last few quarters. I think that seems to have bottomed out. And again, we anticipate some amount of growth to come back in that set or that part of the world as well. So if you look at the overall volume expectations at the beginning of this year was around about somewhere between 88 to 89 million. That's already moved to the 90 million mark, and to be seen how it moves as we move ahead to FY27 as well. On the tariff front, I think the industry in general has been able to figure out ways to work with the revised, world dynamics, if I were to put it. And that's what we have taken in our stride as well. We have worked hard to be able to find mitigating elements together with trying and working with the customer to pass through some of these costs. Some of it has been done. We are still carrying around about 10 million of additional costs in our P&L right now, which should also be passed on as we move through the rest of the year. So overall, I think much of the not so good parts of the industry seems to be behind us. When we look ahead, at least things seem clearer. Things seem that if not, significant growth, it's still muted with a fair amount of content growth coming in, which should all aid in our growth. And on top of it, please do bear in mind, we're not only automotive. We've transformed ourselves to be a DEMA, which is design, engineering, manufacturing, and assembly powerhouse. And we are industry agnostic. So many of our non-automotive parts of the world, parts of our business, stuff like consumer electronics, stuff like aerospace, all seem to be moving towards a high double-digit trajectory for some time now. And will continue to do so as its order book is pretty robust as well. So hence many legs of growth as we look ahead. So we're pretty positive as we look through the rest of this year.
All right. Hi, Kunal. Good to see you. When you mentioned about non-auto as well. We had Mr. Sanjay Parekh of Soham, who joined us on the channel yesterday. And he was talking about prospects of the company. So I just want to focus a little bit on that. It's still a very small part of your business, the non-auto. How do you see this part of the business scaling up? And will it be inorganic in nature, or will you do it organically?
So we've never said either or. It's always and for us. As you know, we are a fairly acquisitive company. Right now, however, I think with the amount of order book that we have on the organic space itself, the absolute immediate piece is organic, though we continue to look at opportunity sets in this space as well. So you're aware that we are setting up our largest greenfield ever that we have set up for the consumer electronics piece, which should kickstart in the latter half of FY27. We are having new facilities come up in the aerospace side as well. There's one in the health and medical side now as well. So a large variety of investments being done right now to enhance the growth around this topic. And as we deliver more, there are enough number of opportunities at the global level that are also at play, which you will hear as we move through the rest of the year.
So it moves to what in terms of a percentage contribution as the facilities come on stream? First electronics facility has come on stream. Second one is coming on stream, and all of that. So non-auto, how much does it contribute by 27, 28, 29?
Difficult to guesstimate given we remain acquisitive. So if I give you an estimate and then tomorrow announce something, it will start looking very different, specifically if the announcement is on the automotive side. So, but needless to say, I would say that the non-automotive piece will be driving growth at a significantly higher pace organically versus the automotive piece. And hence, at an organic level, the share should consistently increase. The inorganics can change the share as we move ahead, and the inorganic can happen on either part of the business.
Yeah. And Kunal, hi, morning, which is why it will really help because there's so many different parts to your business, right? And you're in so many different markets. It will really help if you give us a sense of, not just for FY26, say looking at FY27 perhaps, on a steady state 12-month basis, the organic business across, all the lines. What is the run rate at which you think your organic revenue will grow? And again, margins, overall, which are about 6.7% as of this quarter. I'm talking about blended margins. What is the trajectory on a steady state 12-month basis?
So look, I think one, you should not ever view us on a quarter-on-quarter basis because there's obviously too much volatility that is embedded.
Yeah, which is why I'm asking for a sort of an annual outlook.
Yeah. So on an annual basis, as we have always maintained, I think our endeavor is always to do better than last. And I think that's what we will deliver most likely in this financial year as well. We should do better than what we did last year, both on top line and bottom line front.
So, but better than last year, Kunal, can also be 1%, right? But for investors, there's a huge difference between 1% and 5% or 9%. But some ballpark estimates, if not numbers, will it be single-digit growth? Will you aim for double-digit growth?
Look, there are many things at play right now. So it will be a little too early for me to really talk about it from a particular percentage of growth. Let me give a little bit different picture. Maybe if you think from an ROC perspective, we are today at somewhere around 14.5%. We should trend, at least a couple of percentage or more up as we move through the rest of this year.
And on margins, where this quarter there's been some pressure on wiring and harness, modules and polymer more or less steady. So again, I'm not asking for a quarterly trend because it can be volatile. You're across so many markets and businesses. But, when we talk about full year margins, would you be perhaps northwards of, say, 7-8%? I mean, just how is it looking? Or are you expecting margin pressure in the second half? And if yes, across which businesses?
So we are aware we are an ROC-focused company, so margins is not really what we focus on in that regard. But I would expect that, as the top line grows with our H2 looking better, the absolute value of our profitability should also go up. And that's what's giving me the comfort that ROC should track upwards.
Kunal, we'll leave it there. Good luck to you. Thank you very much for joining us and appreciate your time here on CNBC-TV18. Stocks up about 3.5% as we speak. Markets are down 16 points and things are looking much better. Of course, I think you can put a, lead tally for Bihar and look at the Nifty, and I think you'd kind of sort of have the same trajectory in terms of direction of travel at least. Let's go across to Parikshit, who's now standing by with the latest trends and firmer trends, right? I imagine compared to when we last spoke with Parikshit. Parikshit, what's the latest?
Well, yes, firmer trends in favor of the NDA alliance. They are clearly past the halfway mark. The halfway mark being 122. The NDA has leads in 162 seats. This is 43 more than last time. India alliance at just about 73. And it seems to be the Congress and the other opposition parties dragging down the India alliance. In the NDA, you've got both the JDU and the BJP performing well. The JDU at 72, the BJP 70. So look at them. Their performance is almost neck to neck. LJP at 15, Hums Party at 4, RLM at 4 as well. So all the alliance partners doing well. But if you look at the India alliance for that matter, It is only the RJD which is doing the heavy lifting, and that's where the problem seems to lie. RJD at 50, the Congress at 16, so there is so much of difference between the alliance partners. The NDA also seems to be doing very well all across the state. But there is one important trend that I'm really picking up, and I want to show this to our viewers, which tells you that the BJP, the JDU, they've been working consistently on improving their tally in Bihar. Let's look at the 2020 vote share for these parties. If you look at the vote share of the NDA last time around, it was just about 37%. But this time, the BJP and JDU alone together is about 40%. So BJP and JDU both have increased their vote share in this election if we look at the trends that are coming in right now. So clearly, the BJP and JDU have worked on their performance. If you look at some of the factors that are playing out in this election, let's look at the Mahila factor. Let's see how the parties have performed in areas where there are a large number of women voters. There are about 122 seats out of 243 where the women factor plays an important role. And the NDA is leading here with 92, India Alliance at 27. Now, let me also look at some of the rural seats in this election. Here also, you see that the NDA has 149. So the NDA performing very well in the rural seats. 149 areas are where it has leads. The India Alliance only at 67. Losses for them here in rural Bihar. Finally, in the urban seats, again, you will see a strong performance by the NDA, India Alliance at 5. So there are 20 seats where which can be termed as urban seats, and the NDA seems to be doing better. Finally, one factor that I'd like to leave our viewers with is the Muslim-dominated seats in this election. So there are 53 seats where the Muslim vote holds sway, and you can call them Muslim-dominated seats. Even here, the NDA has a lead of 31. India Alliance at 19, others at number 2, and the Jan Swaraj Party at number 1. So this is not just one particular factor, or like the Nitish factor, or the Modi factor, or the women vote, or the Muslim vote, which is working in this election. It seems to be a pan-Bihar exercise which is working out in favor of the NDA Alliance. But just a caveat that we'll add for our viewers, that these are still early trends. The Election Commission is yet to call the election, but we should have very clear trends in about 2 hours or so. But as far as early numbers go, NDA leading in about 165 seats. Will they match their 2010 performance? That remains to be seen, but they are clearly winning as far as this goes. And JDU and Nitish Kumar seem very clear in terms of becoming the chief minister of the state. That position has been solidified as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Parishad. I mean, if these numbers hold, then it's really, a great reiteration, of course, Mr. Nitish Kumar's leadership of the government in Bihar, and of course, the alliance's strength as well. Very interesting. Sanjeev Srivastava is with us, and so is Aditi Fadnis, consulting editor, Business Standard. Thanks very much, both of you, for joining us. Sanjeev, I guess backing the exit poll numbers was absolutely the right thing to do.
Well, what to say? It's very difficult to gloat. Actually, I was not, just to correct you, I was not backing the exit poll numbers. I was backing my numbers.
No, I know. But I was asking you, no. It's not about you. Because my question to you then was whether you would kind of, because what's happened in 2020 and maybe 2015, you would go with, but you said, well, in your travels and all, you've also kind of felt that the exit polls are, they kind of confirm what you thought as well.
Yes. So it is all instinctive at the end of the day. We are no pollsters, but what one felt on the ground, my number was around 153 to 155 for NDA. Now, obviously, they are exceeding it, and some of my fellow travelers had these numbers also, 160 to 168. Let's see where it ends. But what looked clear was that Nitish Kumar continues to remain the number one choice of people as chief minister, while Tejasvi strangely and paradoxically remains the most popular leader in terms of numbers. But the combination or the alliance of BJP, JDU, Chirag Paswan, Upendra Kushwaha, Jitan Ram Manji, this kind of cast broad rainbow, it just continues to deliver election after election after election. And we have been seeing the same story since 2005. So there is no rocket science really behind explaining this verdict. And the Mahagathbandhan, unfortunately, very solid numerically, but can't cross that threshold of Muslim Yadav. And so it remains around 35%, 36%. Congress doesn't bring in any additional votes. So, it is just, in hindsight, it looks like a no-brainer.
But also, Sanjeev, morning, and thank you for joining in. Thanks, Aditi, to you as well for being with us. But it also once again reminds us, right? I mean, Gujarat many years ago, many decades ago, and a state like Bihar now, that anti-incumbency at times can be more a matter of conversation, electoral conversation than electoral reality, if this indeed is the verdict. So, Aditi, come in on the discussion with your thoughts on what you think has, particularly led to this kind of a verdict, if this is how it's going to be. Is it the multiple schemes? Is it wooing the woman voter? Is it the fact that they managed to appease to, people along caste lines? And as Parikshit was indicating, maybe even along across religious lines as well, because in some of the Muslim-dominated areas, there seems to be the early leads are indicating a tilt towards the NDA. So what do you think? Do the leads really tell us about the electoral politics in Bihar as of now?
So I think the most important thing is the popularity of Nitish on the back of all the infrastructure development that his government has been able to do, regardless of whom he's had as partners. I think Nitish has very firmly put behind him this allegation or this charge that he shifts partners at will and is an opportunist and so on and so forth. Clearly, people of Bihar at least have no view on this. They have voted for Nitish Kumar, I think, as leads show, in very large numbers. That said, I don't think Tejasvi Yadav is out. I think Tejasvi Yadav has taken the Rashtriya Janata Dal into a new trajectory, which keeps caste as its central issue, but talks about a lot of other things also. He has captured the imagination of the young voter. So I think it would be a big mistake for anybody to sit back and complacently believe that just because NDA seems to be leading heavily in Bihar, that Tejasvi Yadav is a write-off. He's not. The third thing is women. Yes, women have always been committed JDU voters from the time that Nitish Kumar came to power in 2000 and continued his stay. We all know all the things that he has done to his commitment towards women voters. And frankly, even if this 10,000 rupee scheme, which is to be converted into 2,90,000, which is what women voters' eyes are on, frankly, even if he had not done that, women voters would have voted for him. Part of the reason is the early investment in girls' education, which is actually showing results now.
As well.
And followed by a number of other things, including prohibition. So women voters are committed JDU supporters, I think it can be said without fear of contradiction. And they are looking to more. They're asking for more, which is, I think, a pretty encouraging thing, because as we know, women are better at most things than men.
I'd second that completely, Aditi.
Aditi, nicely done. Nicely done.
Lovely. Completely with you on that one. But, ladies and gentlemen, one more question, and we look at this from a stock market lens. So it's important to really understand whether this has any bearing on New Delhi at all, or whether this remains a Bihar issue and then the NDA celebrates today and then life goes back to usual. Because from a macroeconomy, business, markets and policy perspective, that's very important to understand. Sanjeev, you want to take that first?
So like I was mentioning the other day, a couple of days back when we were discussing exit polls, the reverse would have really caused mayhem in the markets.
Yes.
If the NDA had lost. Now it is more like status quo. The next big elections will be May next year, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, etc. So till then, everything is stable. Nitish Kumar continues to stay with NDA, at least one thinks so. So everything is status quo. I think the markets will be more guided by what happens on policy front, what happens on tariffs, what happens on earnings of companies. So all those things, the usual stuff. So this politics has just reaffirmed that the government is stable, there to stay. Nothing unusual or out of the way expected in near to short to medium term.
So we were just, because, for us, the next event is the union budget, right? And Aditi, just quickly, last 30 seconds on this. We were just wondering whether this means more big Bihar packages. We just want to figure out whether this will have any bearing on how the fiscal kitty is going to be spent. Or was that all done? Because 25 was the election year.
Days of big Bihar packages are behind us. We'll see them after 4 years, maybe.
Okay.
I think on the Bihar package, I don't think that's a possibility, but Bihar is the place to invest now. Bihar has seen 15,000 kilometers of roads being built. There are innumerable bridges and so on. They are going to emphasize, whichever government comes to power, they're going to emphasize on employment and industrialization of Bihar. As you know, Bihar is one of the least industrialized states. It is one of the least urbanized states. It has the lowest per capita income. That represents an opportunity, not a risk.
I'm sorry. Very quickly, I'll disagree there with Aditi, whom I have great regard and affection for. See, Nitish Kumar, 2005 to 2015 was a Vikas Purush of sorts. Last 10 years, despite of this government being there, there's nothing much done on ground, infrastructure-wise or industry-wise or policy-wise. So really, I would love to share our optimism, but the track record of last 10 years doesn't indicate that.
We'll continue to debate and focus on this in segments through the course of the day. But for now, it looks like it's a done deal, unless there is a surprise afoot, which
never know.
Sanjeev and Aditi, thanks very much for joining us with that. Pine Labs listing, right? I mean, 10 past 10 now. So it's a 10% pop on Pine Labs. 243 is where this one is now at. So on top of the issue price. So it's a pretty solid listing for Pine Labs this morning. Already about 11 million shares nearly coming up on your screens right now. What we'll do is we'll have a quick sort of setup in terms of where valuation is, any comparables, etc. coming up in just a bit with our research team on Pine Labs. Technicals, right? Sudeep Shah is with us, Head of Technical and Derivative Research, SBI Securities. Now, Sudeep, if you're watching Bihar, as you heard, and we've been showing the numbers, it looks like a game, set, match. What's your sense, and how would you trade things from here?
Good morning, Prashant. Yes, I guess now it's done and dusted. Bihar is the Bihar elections, and the entire event is now behind us. Markets have we have seen that recovery in the first half an hour when the numbers were being flashed, and now I feel it will be back to normal. It will be back to technicals, or it will be back to how the results are coming out. So overall, from here, what we feel is from a medium-term outlook perspective, support for Nifty now is closer to 25,650, 25,670, where the 20-day exponential moving average is there, and which was the prior breakout zone. So overall, we feel broadly Nifty will be in a range between 25,650 and 26,000 on the upside, and a lot of individual stock-specific or sector-specific moves will happen. From a bank Nifty perspective, that could outperform. That has been outperforming, and we feel banking and financials, NBFCs, capital market stocks, that could be the space to focus on. And levels, if we see for bank Nifty, 57,700, 57,750 would act as a strong support on the downside.
And stocks, Sudeep?
Stocks, there are a couple of them. One is IIFL Finance, which has given a fresh breakout today above 545, 547. Good set of numbers few days back. And what we feel is from the current levels, the stock can do 585, 85 on the upside and can be bought with a stop loss at 540 on the downside. The second stock that we have on our radar is CDSL. Here also the stock is at the cusp of a symmetrical triangle breakout, a long-term one. And we feel that the support zone here is 1610. So the stock can be bought with a stop loss at 1610 and upsides up to 1690, 1710 could act as targets.
Okay. All right. Got that, Sudeep. Thank you very much for joining in. By the way, we shouldn't take note of the environment in which we are trading today. Some of the Asian regional markets, they are sliding, and how the South Korean market's down 2.5%, Japanese market is down 2%, the Hang Seng, maybe we can pull up, the Hang Seng is down. So we've had that pop, we've touched the green territory once the, verdict became almost clear with these leads.
I think...
but then there is this reality, which is why we've had another dip.
As someone, I think in the past discussion, someone said, right? I mean, the market reaction would have been if this went the other way.
Yeah.
Now, this was expected, it's happened, and I think markets will kind of move on.
Exactly.
Remember, markets, Nifty's already also rallied from 23,300. So about
All
600 points in about last
26,000,
5-6 days, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we are at. Well, we'll start to focus on the usual stuff, right? Once Bihar is done, which is, of course, I mean, the global stuff, etc. So we mentioned Jubilant Food is what we want to focus on. It's seeing a big move, and this after numbers. Mangalam is here to put the spotlight on this one. Mangalam, over to you.
A pizza party continues for Jubilant Foodworks, right? Ever since the company reported its second quarter update, the stock's been doing well, and now that the numbers are out, the street has taken a lot more, gusto to those numbers. Over 20%, almost 20% sort of revenue growth on a consolidated basis, and a similar amount of growth in the EBITDA, which implies a margins of 20.3%. And the finance cost reduction has actually led the net profit a lot higher, from 70 crores all the way up to 110 crores. And a large part of this business is led by the India vertical. The standalone business has seen a 16% revenue growth and a 16% EBITDA growth. And these numbers shine particularly as, all the other QSRs that have reported their numbers have actually been fairly weak. So the leader has far outperformed this time around as well. The last 4 quarters have seen high single-digit to double-digit like-for-like growth. So that's something we'll continuously monitor. Yes, it has moderated on a trend basis, but 9.1% in an environment where others aren't growing as much definitely stands head and shoulders above the peers. The company's taken heart from that and added about 81 stores, Domino's stores, and the total number of Domino's stores in the country now stand at around 2,300. And all of this, nearly all of this, has been led by delivery. So delivery of pizzas, like-for-like growth is 16.5%. Remember, that accounts for nearly 3/4 of their revenue. And add to all of this, even their newer verticals, Popeyes for one, doing extremely well. They've, reported strong double-digit same-store sales growth in that one. Obviously, the company refrains to give specific numbers on Popeyes, but all guns firing or all ovens baking, as you call it.
Well, there you go. Mangalam describing the Jubilant numbers as only he can. Mangalam, thanks very much for that. Well, on the other side, Manisha will be focusing on the commodities space. And we'll go across to her in just a bit from now. Markets are, they've almost come back into the green. They're down about 80 points, 25,800 nearly. Back in 2.
सपना था कि खुद का ट्रांसपोर्ट बिजनेस हो और फंडिंग मिलना इतना आसान नहीं था।
मशीनें तो खरीद ली थी, पर बड़ा ऑर्डर लेने के लिए पूंजी की जरूरत थी। घर से ही केक बनाने का काम शुरू किया था मैंने।
किसी के यहाँ टेबल कुर्सी बनाते बनाते मुझे ये हौसला मिला कि मुझे खुद का काम शुरू करना चाहिए।
फिर इनका साथ मिला और नए रास्ते खुल गए।
फिर इनका साथ मिला और मेरा बिजनेस इतना बड़ा हो गया। फिर इनका साथ मिला और फैक्ट्री यहाँ तक पहुँच गई।
फिर इनका साथ मिला और मैं इस मुकाम पर पहुँच गया।
सुन रहे हैं ना? ये सब एक ही नाम की बात कर रहे हैं और वो नाम है पीएनबी। आपका सपना सिर्फ आपका नहीं होता है, वो पूरे देश की तरक्की का हिस्सा होता है। इसीलिए पीएनबी लेकर आया है एमएसएमई लोन स्कीम्स जो छोटे छोटे बिजनेसेस को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए बनाई गई है। इजी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन और अट्रैक्टिव रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट पे लोन आपको देता है पीएनबी, वो भी बिना किसी झंझट। झट से पीएनबी का भरोसा, अब हर व्यापार होगा बड़ा।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
हेलो बेटा, HBFC सिक्योरिटीज इज बेस्ट फॉर यू।
बेटा, स्कैम लेके आई हो या रिश्ता माँ? ब्रो, यो जस्ट गो।
Oh no. Hi, I'm Pooja.
पूजा, एक चोर का असली नाम सिर्फ उसकी माँ जानती है।
सर, टिप पड़ी है और टाइम बहुत कम। आप जैसे ही मेरे अकाउंट में पैसे डालेंगे, मैं इन्वेस्ट कर दूंगी।
तूने मेरे पैसे ही नहीं, दिल भी चुरा लिया रज्जू।
चोर तो जोरों शोरों से तैयार है और आप स्कैमर्स ट्रस्टेड ब्रांड्स की नकल करते हैं। ऑलवेज वेरीफाई।
राइट हियर, राइट नाउ, कितना कुछ नया स्टार्ट हो रहा है। जनराली और सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ इंडिया मिलकर बने हैं जनराली सेंट्रल इंश्योरेंस, और हम आपकी हर नई शुरुआत के साथ हैं टू प्रोटेक्ट एवरीथिंग यू लव। जनराली सेंट्रल इंश्योरेंस, आपका लाइफ टाइम पार्टनर।
कौन है जो जोड़े देश को? विकसित भारत का विकसित वायर।
Hi, I'm Gaurav Mehta and I'm the CEO.
No, you're a founder.
No.
Yep.
I'm not a founder.
Yes, you are.
What's going on here?
I'm Aarti Nanji and I play tennis for a
But you're
living.
also a founder.
Founder?
Yes.
Who's my co-founder, by the way?
You don't have one yet. Your wealth is your first startup. Don't just manage it, scale it with the right co-founder. We see your vision and unlock the true potential of your wealth. Ionic Wealth, co-founder in your journey of wealth creation.
Well, just as we were talking about that pullback, actually the markets have gone back to the low point of the day. We're down close to around 90 points. But let's let the markets settle themselves. For the time being, let's go across to the commodity markets. And Manisha is waiting by to tell us what's going on there. Manisha?
Well, thank you for that. I want to talk about metals right now because what a week it has been for across metals as a sector. It has been a strong rebound that we've seen for gold and silver, and that is on the back of soft US dollar, really. Apart from that, there is also uncertainty over the backlog of the official data that would start coming in from US, how much, where, and whether the officials there have been able to collect all of that data. Well, this is after the US president has signed a short-term bill, ending the longest US government shutdown. But the markets are still not sure or aware or what kind of numbers we could be looking at in sense of economic numbers from the US, and that is keeping the markets jittery there. We have seen gold prices gain up by nearly 5% in this week, and this has been the best weekly gain that you have seen in last 1 month. Silver is up by 10% in this week, and that one is trading at a 1-month highs right now, just $1 away right now from its all-time high. So that's the kind of rebound that we have seen come in both for gold and silver there. The gains have just about continued for the base metal prices also. Copper is trading at a 2-week highs. You have zinc prices now trading at an 11-month highs. The refined zinc production is expected to decline by 2% in this week. And the smelting problems that we have seen continue in Kazakhstan and Japan clearly have been quite supportive there. The best performer of the lot is tin prices. Those futures are trading at a 7-month highs right now, above $37,000 a ton onto that one. There is gradual rollout of mining quotas, prolonged suspension in Myanmar. There also is Indonesia ordering closure of 1,000 legal mines in Sumatra. And that tells you that the supply perhaps could be a big concern going forward there. And when you look at the tin usage itself, well, this is one commodity that also gets used in various data centers development, electrification projects as well. And with tin supplies continuing to going down, as I said, this is an outperformer rather for overall sector there. Take a look at the HRC steel prices, and they were trading at around 2-year lows not too far back. But that also has seen a very strong gain, trading at July 2025 highs right now, having gained 5.5% in the matter of last 1 month itself. The final chart shows you on what we've done in sense of prices in year until now, and it continues to shine bright for the precious metal prices. Gold is up 60% this year now with the kind of gains we've seen in this week. Silver jumps up by 85%, and within base metals, it's tin, which is up by 30%. And then it is copper, which is up 28%, aluminum up 13%, zinc is up 3% as well. So very strong gains continuing in precious metals, and then followed by some of these base metals. Having said that, all in all, it's been a positive year till time for many of these metals.
All right, Manisha, thanks very much for that. That's commodities in focus. So many big movers, right? In equities, Muthoot was there at the bottom of the screen. There is Bharat Dynamics there. Jubilant Food, Mangalam highlighted. PG Electroplast is, of course, something we're going to talk about as well, right? I mean, the big talking point there, inventory in the system, as PG has been guiding for some time, that by the end of the year, things will become much better. That's the management on the other side, on the back of their second quarter numbers. Stocks up about 0.5%.
Tenneco Clean Air India Limited proposes an initial public offering of its equity shares. The 100% book build offer is being offered at a price band of rupees 378 to rupees 397 per equity share, a face value of rupees 10 each. Offer opens on Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Offer closes on Friday, November 14th, 2025. For risk involved and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus, which is available on the website of the company, the SEBI, the BRLMs, and the stock exchanges.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
आपका और हमारा बहुत ही लंबा और करीबी रिश्ता है। हम उस चटकारे में हैं जो आप अपने दोस्तों के साथ लेते हैं, उस दराज में है जिसमें छिपा है माँ के राजमा चावल का राज, उन सांसों में है जो आपके पलों को महकाते हैं। तो अगली बार आपको कोई चीज पसंद आ जाए तो उसे पलट के देखिएगा, जरूर हमारा नाम दिख जाएगा।
Rural India is transforming rapidly. Rising incomes, digital connectivity, dual income households and access to healthcare. Massive government spends are turning rural India into a growth engine. Presenting Kotak Rural Opportunities Fund, an opportunity to invest in companies benefiting from the rural boom across sectors. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
पता है टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस आपकी फैमिली के लिए कितना जरूरी है? इतना जरूरी है कि भारत सरकार ने इस पे जीएसटी पूरी तरह से हटाकर जीरो कर दिया है। पॉलिसी बाजार पर अब 1 करोड़ का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 400 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
अपनी लाडली की सेफ्टी से समझौता? नो चांस। इसीलिए पॉलीकैप ग्रीन वायर्स, इसमें है 99.97% हाई कंडक्टिव प्योर कॉपर। ये साधारण वायर्स के मुकाबले जल्दी गर्म नहीं होते। पॉलीकैप ग्रीन वायर्स, इंडिया सेफ हैप्पी कनेक्शन।
Fujiyama Power Systems Limited, which also owns the brand UTL Solar, now launches an initial public offer of equity shares of face value of 1 rupee each, with a price band of 216 rupees to 228 rupees per equity share. Bid offer opens on Thursday, November 13, 2025, closes on Monday, November 17, 2025. For risk factors and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus available on the websites of the SEBI, the stock exchanges, the book running lead managers, and the company.
Well, let's continue our focus on earnings. And PG Electroplast, well, it reported a mixed set of Q2 numbers. The company says the operating cash flows were impacted by higher inventory levels in the first half of the year, but also adds that the order book remains healthy for all products. To discuss the past quarter and the optimistic way ahead, we have Mr. Vikas Gupta, the MD of PG Electroplast, who joins in. Hi, Mr. Gupta. Good to have you in. Well, you're still sounding very optimistic about the second half of the year, because you're sticking to the guidance. Now, in the first half of the year, the revenues are ballpark 2,200 crores. For you to get to that guidance, in the second half, you will do around 3,400 crores. So is that gettable? And also on the profit front, you've done around 70 crores in the first half of the year. To get to 300 crores, you'll have to do 230 crores. Are you sure that this guidance is coming about?
Good morning, Nigel. It's always a pleasure to be there on your show. Yes, we are pretty confident about the numbers that we have said, and we are sticking to the guidance that we have given on the revenue side, also on the profitability side. It comes on the back of the order book and the kind of forecast that we have from our clients and the kind of ramp up that we are experiencing in our AC business in the current months. So we are quite confident that we will be able to hit the revenue guidance that we have given.
Very good. All right. So you're sticking to the guidance. The profit number as well will be close to around 300 crores in FY26, right?
Yes.
Got it. All right. Let's revisit the numbers then. But I wanted to ask you about the JV, because there's still not much clarity with regard to the JV. Is there any approval delay from the Chinese government? If you could give us an update when, because in the last few quarters, it's been just being pushed on. So when can we expect the approval to come in?
So Nigel, regarding the compressor partnership that we were looking at, please understand, let me correct it first. Like, it was never a JV. It was a kind of a manufacturing agreement where we have to start manufacturing compressors for one particular company, and for which we have a particular plant in Supa in state of Maharashtra. Okay. So that Chinese partner, as I told earlier also, is still waiting for the approval from the local Chinese government. Unfortunately, it is taking the more time than expected, and it's still waiting for that only. So we have to just keep our fingers crossed on that, and we're just waiting for them to press the button, because we already have the building which is up and already erected, and we have to just start installation of plant and equipment once that go-ahead comes.
Matter of Vikas, hi, morning. It's a matter of just time, right? So should we expect this in the next 3 months? I mean, or there's no way to tell.
So Prashant, like, we are just waiting for that approval to come in. We have all the RFQs on the plant and equipment already finalized. We have to just release the purchase orders and get those things into the factory and start the installation. So that we are just waiting. It has taken more time, and we have been saying that it will take more time. So I can say, like, let us wait for another 3 months. Let us see how it works out. And our teams are also visiting China. Let us see how it takes out.
I just had one, to go back to ACs, Vikas. You know, you'd guided us that the inventory will correct as we go into the end of the year, and maybe by January, February, I think is what you'd said. Is all of that on track? Because, I mean, it's been the monsoon season kind of ended, I mean, what, 10 days back, 15 days back, right? I mean, in many parts of the country, maybe a little longer, a little earlier than that. So it's been unusually long rains, not just in Q2, but into third quarter as well.
So Prashant, please understand, as I told, we have the order book, we have the production forecast available with us. We are already under the ramp up of our production for ACs. In the month of October, we did around 100,000 air conditioners. This month, we are targeting more than 200,000 air conditioners production. So we are hopeful that the inventory should get cleared up. And please understand, there is a energy rating change from the January 2026. So there will be a lot of pre-build, and we expect a lot of pickup to happen before the end of December to clear the inventory for the old rating label inventory.
Okay, all right. Mr. Gupta, just one more word. You know, this advanced stages with regard to the compressor JV has been going on for 3 or 4 quarters, I think. So I'm reading a note coming from Equaris. Do you think that by Q4 at least, it'll get the all clear?
So Nigel, please understand, it's a government issue. I cannot comment very definitely on that.
Okay.
On our part, whatever actionable items are required, we are already doing that.
Okay.
And we are just following up with the Chinese partner for that.
Okay, not in your hands, we let that go. But how much have you already incurred in terms of a capex? You know, some plant machinery, I think there is some expenditure that's already taken place, right?
So we have, as I told you, we have already erected the building. The factory is already erected. For that, we have incurred an expense of almost around 100 crores. So that is still there. And till the meantime, we are using for our warehousing requirements. But that is something will be used for the compressor facility going forward.
Okay, all right. You know, we'll get back to business. But I wanted to ask you this one question. You know, y'all gone ahead as a promoter group and sold some shares earlier this year. And then the street started getting a little bit, skittish. And then unfortunately for y'all, business as well went through a bit of a downturn. Now that cool-off period, I think the cool-off period is 6 months. You could correct me on that. But if the promoter intends to buy shares, you know, I think that cool-off period ends. Is there an intent to go ahead and maybe creep in a little bit and buy some shares from the open market? We briefly discussed this the last time we chatted.
So Nigel, please understand, we have a long-term commitment to this business, and we feel that still the promoter group is holding a sizable stake in the company. And we feel that we have no need to sort of chip in and try to buy back some stake right now. We will discuss this issue once this 6 months period is getting over now, I think. So we will discuss this issue, but as of now, there is nothing on card.
So as of now, you're comfortable at 43.6% promoter holding, which was 61%, maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes. So, Nigel, so that dilution has happened because of the fundraise that we have done.
No, I've got that. I've got that. But as of now, you're saying there's no intent, but you'll have to revisit it once that cool-off period, which is in the next few days, does get over. Then we'll have to see what action on that front. Well, Mr. Gupta, we appreciate you joining in. It's good to hear you're sounding far more optimistic, and the street has looking past last quarter's numbers. They're looking ahead because you're sticking to the guidance. You're optimistic that something happens with regard to the way forward on the JV, the compressor JV, though it's not in your hands. And also, that PAT guidance of 300 crores will stick. Thanks a lot for joining in. We look forward to chat up with you as the quarter does progress. Well, we'll wrap up on this edition of Bazaar. Chartbusters comes next. Stay tuned.
Presented by Punjab National Bank, the name you can bank upon. Co-powered by SBI, best है सबको पता है. And Bank of Baroda के संग त्योहार की उमंग.
Rural India is transforming rapidly. Rising incomes, digital connectivity, dual income households and access to healthcare. Massive government spends are turning rural India into a growth engine. Presenting Kotak Rural Opportunities Fund, an opportunity to invest in companies benefiting from the rural boom across sectors. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
I'm Riya, proper Mumbaikar. But then something called me. And I flew to Hyderabad and had hot biryani on board. Yum! I'm kind of Hyderabadi also. And one weekend with just a backpack, I took off to Phuket. Now, I'm a little bit tired too.
I'm from everywhere. That's made me feel something special.
Guess I'm a little Air India Express too.
Explore more, express more. Air India Express.
उड़ान भरने के लिए सिर्फ जोर लगाना काफी नहीं है, मोमेंटम का दम भी जरूरी है। जैसे रॉकेट को मोमेंटम की जरूरत है, वैसे आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को भी मोमेंटम चाहिए। इंट्रोड्यूसिंग सैंको स्मॉल कैप फंड, इंडिया का पहला मोमेंटम बेस्ड स्मॉल कैप फंड।
आज ही निवेश करें।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार के जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
एंड ऑफ द मंथ और ये बची कुची सैलरी, इतने में क्या ही मिलेगा यार।
इतने में तो सिर्फ सोना ही मिलेगा।
सोना? तू ठीक तो है ना?
गोल्ड ETF, 200 रुपए हो या कम, इन्वेस्ट विद जस्ट अ डीमैट अकाउंट। एंड द बेस्ट पार्ट, ये रेगुलेटेड है एंड इट्स बैक्ड बाय रियल गोल्ड।
क्या बात है यार।
Gold ETF. It's Aaj Ka Gold. A simple way to diversify and balance portfolios with 200 rupees or less.
लखनऊ के लिए जाने वाली अवध एक्सप्रेस प्लेटफॉर्म नंबर 2 पर आएगी। गोवा के लिए स्टार क्रूज प्लेटफॉर्म नंबर 2 से ही जाएगा।
ये सब आपको एक प्लेटफॉर्म पर मिले ना मिले, पर शेयर इंडिया प्लेटफॉर्म पे आपको इक्विटीज, डेरिवेटिव्स, कमोडिटीज, इंश्योरेंस, म्यूचुअल फंड्स और एल्गो ट्रेडिंग एक साथ मिलेगी। शेयर इंडिया, डाउनलोड द ऐप नाउ।
Investments in securities markets are subject to market risks. Read all related documents carefully before investing. Co-powered by SBI, best है सबको पता है. And Bank of Baroda के संग त्योहार की उमंग.
Welcome to Chartbusters. We're coming to you live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studio. I'm Nigel, with me is Manglam, and as you can see, the market's a little bit skittish, though it appears, at least as of now, that the Bihar election verdict has gone as per what the markets did predict. The BJP is on top out there.
BJP, indeed, the NDA on top in Bihar, and that's exactly what the market is digesting as well. We had seen a rally post, the exit poll results had come by as well, which is why maybe some bit of decline from the highs, given the weakness that we're seeing in the global markets as well. The mid-cap index is something that we'll most definitely watch out for, because at an index level, it is outperforming the frontline indices in the sense that it's not falling as much. If you look at the broader markets, we have a few more number of stocks which are declining than the number of stocks which are advancing. 1500 on the red side versus 1100 or 1200 in the green side itself. But let's focus on IRCTC. The company reported slow September quarter in spite of the early onset of festive season, and we spoke with the management on what they expect in the next quarter, the festive outlook for the tourism segment. Let's hear them out.
Overall outlook is very, very positive. Reasons being, as you correctly told, that there is a seasonal demand. Railway has run a large number of special trains also, and in tourism segment also there is a quite a